Some players have tried to win the championship, win a ring for years and haven't made it, and I don't want to be one of those.
Oh my goodness! Wemby, he's a one-man wrecking crew.
He's like an alien.
Wemby out of this world.
I'm trying to win the ring ASAP, so be ready.
How about just starting with getting back to playoffs?
Yeah.
Spurs have a 6-year drought. They're facing the Knicks today, 1 Eastern on ABC. They're on an 11-game win streak. And during that streak, Wemby is averaging more than 22 points, 11 boards, 3 blocks a game. He is a front runner for Defensive Player of the Year. Our NBA championship head coach, Michael Malone, joins us this morning, obviously there in his hotel as he gets ready to walk over to Madison Square Garden for the call. We last saw Wemby dropping 42 points there. It was a Christmas Day record in 2024. And, Coach, he's such a unique challenge for teams that don't see him often, especially. What should the Knicks' defensive game plan be for him today?
Well, after they hope and pray, they're going to have to get physical.
Yeah.
You know, because Wemby is a guy that can hurt you in so many ways, Hannah. We know about the defense, the shot blocking, but offensively, how many times in the history of this game have you seen a 7'4" player be able to knock down threes at 35%? Be able to move without the ball and dominate at the rim, inside the paint. He can put the ball on the floor, has a really soft touch, and having coached against him, he presents a lot of nightmare challenges. Mike Brown will use OG Anunoby at times, but I think he's a little bit too small. Victor can shoot over him. Karl-Anthony Towns will get matchup minutes on him, has to stay out of foul trouble. And I think Mitchell Robinson off the bench will also get a chance to go out there. But against a great player, look, you have to give him different looks, try to keep him off balance.
And, you know, it's interesting because other teams have tried to, especially on this East Coast swing that they're on, really play them physically. But the Spurs are very tough to rattle. You know, Wemby, it never seems to get in his head or upset him, and the rest of the team follows suit. And then you have like a different player stepping up every night, it seems, for them, especially as he struggled offensively. I mean, what impresses you about this Spurs team?
Well, so many things. And I want to start off with Mitch Johnson, their head coach. Give him credit because, one, he's following arguably the greatest NBA head coach of all time in Greg Popovich. Not an easy challenge for any coach. And then he has them way ahead of schedule. They're a game and a half behind Oklahoma City, defending champs. They've beaten them 4 times this year, Hannah. So they're not afraid of playing anybody. And then you just touched on it. I love watching them because of their depth. We know about Wemby, everything he does, the gravity he brings. But when you got guys like Stephon Castle, reigning Rookie of the Year, one of the best two-way players in the league, the Aaron Fox, a 2-time All-Star, Julian Champagnie, who knocked down a franchise record 11 threes in their win on New Year's Eve, Keldon Johnson right here in the running for 6th Man of the Year. They have so many weapons. And when Wemby may not have a great offensive night, 2 things you know. His teammates are going to support him, and he's still going to be defensive-minded and patrol the paint and get the Spurs out and running. Yeah,
the guy who leads the NBA in blocks. Okay, so the other night you were calling the Cavs-Pistons game. And by the way, let's hope the horn works at Madison Square Garden because you were there for that 16-minute delay. So you know and have seen firsthand just how loaded the East is, okay? The Knicks are right there, but they're a very inconsistent team. And I'm just wondering how you see the Knicks right now and what you need to see from them down the stretch.
Well, I think you touched on it. I think you can go down the top 4 teams in the East and come up with one word that kind of is a question mark for them. And with New York, it is consistency. They had a 2-9 stretch earlier in the year around the new year. They came out of that, won 8 games in a row, looked great. Since that 8-game win streak, they're 5-4. They win 1, they lose 1. They've been really good at home. On the road, they're only 15-14. You know it starts and ends with Jalen Brunson, one of the greatest Knicks scorers in Knicks history, which is impressive considering their illustrious history as a franchise. But Karl-Anthony Towns, I think that's the one thing that a lot of people talk about. Does Karl-Anthony Towns find a way in this stretch run going into the postseason to kind of find his footing? He's averaging career lows, Hannah, in scoring, in minutes, in field goal attempts. And you want to make a deep run, You want to come out of the Eastern Conference? You better have more than just Jalen Brunson. You need other guys to step up, and Karl Anthony Towns has the resume and the talent to do so.
Yeah, but Mike Brown has already said, listen, I'm not going to scheme specifically for that to get Cat more involved. It'll be really interesting to see what happens today, Coach. I hope you have a lovely walk over to the Garden and a great call. It should be a lot of fun. Thanks.
Great.
p.m. Eastern on ABC. The Knicks, the 3 seed in the East, they host the West's second-best team. That would be the Spurs. San Antonio coming in, riding an 11-game win streak, their longest since 2015-2016 season. Their last loss this season coming in January. ESPN NBA sideline reporter George Sedano joining us now. George, you're going to be on the sideline reporting for Spurs and Knicks at MSG, right across the street from where you are now. And we see how dominant Wemby has been in this winning streak. What are his teammates saying about his mindset as a competitor?
Well, it's interesting, Randy. They talk about just the competitive nature of a 21-year-old. You don't normally see it from this young of a player. It's interesting because I'll tell you a personal story. So I spoke to him. I had the game right before the All-Star break, and I said to him, hey, what are you most looking forward to when it comes to the All-Star break? And he said, well, beyond the games, it means I get to get an extra hour of sleep and I don't have to be as regimented as I normally am. And yet we all know he wanted to beat everybody at the All-Star game. When you talk to Mitch Johnson, his head coach, he'll tell you everything is done deliberately. Even through his warm-ups, every single motion, no wasted motion, no wasted words even when it comes to talking to his teammates or whatnot. Just the leadership style of a 21-year-old is just unfathomable. We haven't really seen it when it comes to him. Harrison Barnes told me the best thing. He goes, man, he's a killer. He goes, whether it's chess, ping pong, or on the basketball floor, he wants to win at all costs.
And, okay, lately, the last 3 games or so, Wemby struggled offensively, but struggles have followed Karl Anthony Towns. He's a focus for the Knicks offense right now. Why has Cat struggled to find a rhythm, George, in this Knicks offense?
You know, I think it's really just they haven't found a real flow for him within this Mike Brown offense. It's not the same offense they had last year. As you see there on that graphic, a career low in minutes, a career low in field goal percentage, and a career low in field goal attempts. By the way, that points per game is the lowest since his rookie year. The reality is, when I spoke to Mike Brown about this a while ago, maybe like a couple weeks ago, I had them. He said, look, with Cat, what we want to do is we want to have him initiate his offense in 5 different positions on the floor. But that's just not the comfort level for Cat. He wants a couple of touches inside, get him going. He doesn't get very many touches inside. And I think that's really what they need. They need to get him in the flow of the offense again and get him some of those easy ones. That way he's not just a spot-up shooter. So I think there's a bit of frustration across the board on how to make sure they get Cat involved in the offense. And Randy, they're going to need him because if they want to win a championship and move forward from the Eastern Conference Finals where they reached last year, they're going to need a guy like Cat to be their second best player.
I mean, they're 10. The magic number, they are 10-2 when Cat scores 25 or more. If they get him there, we'll see what happens against the Spurs. Again, 1 p.m. Eastern. It's George Sedano. Thank you, sir.
You got it, Randy.
All right. And as